The Money Issue, a special edition of Sunday Morning. Here again is Anthony Mason.
Saxophonist Kenny G has made a lot of fans over the years with hits such as Songbird. He's also made a lot of money. Money that he's put into a portfolio that performs at least as well as he does. Rita Braver has his Gee Whiz story.
Hey, how are you?
To Diana, please.
To Diana, I can do that. How are you?
I fell in love with your music.
Oh.
I absolutely adores you.
Oh, thanks. You're a sax player? Come on, take a picture with me.
He's one of the top-selling instrumental artists of all time.
Now I know what I'm going to listen to go to sleep tonight.
Awesome.
More than 70 million records sold worldwide and counting. But it's not just his talent on the soprano saxophone that has brought him fame.
This is my first Grammy I've ever won.
Fortune, and his Malibu home.
The air's clean out here, but I can go into LA anytime I need it. Good for kids, too.
He got here by sheer hard work. And as his wall of gold and platinum records demonstrates, Kenny G knows how to market himself. This son of a Seattle plumbing supply company owner started out as Kenny Gorlick. Why'd you decide to go with Kenny G?
I've always had the nickname of the G-Man or G or something. All my friends always called me that.
And then there's that mop of hair, which he attributes to years of trying to tame his curls.
One day I just said, okay, I'm just gonna let my hair grow because I hate it the way it is. And I went through a real ugly stage where the hair was just going everywhere. And eventually it got long enough to where the curls fall and there's weight and it makes it, and I said, you know, at least now, it's not repulsive anymore.
By 10, he'd fallen in love with the sax. But in college, Kenny G decided to major in accounting. He says it's made him ask all the right questions when he goes out on tour.
What does a tour bus cost a week? What are we paying for hotels? How much are the per diem? What's depreciable? What can I amortize? All this kind of stuff. So, you know, I said, you know what, that tour is not going to work for me. Because I'm going to come back, I'm not going to make anything.
Before Kenny G was a headliner, he played backup in several bands. In 1982, he was spotted by the legendary Clive Davis and signed to a deal with Arista Records. But instrumental music wasn't really in vogue, and his albums weren't selling well, until 1987, when this song changed everything. He decided to play it during a Tonight Show appearance, instead of the duet he was scheduled to do with a vocalist from his band.
I said, sorry, bro, this is my time. So the curtain goes up. My guys are so nervous. I'm not nervous. What do I have to lose? Play Songbird, played my heart out.
The song was a huge success. It became his signature. His next solo, Silhouette, was a hit too. And suddenly, he was becoming a star. Jamming with a fellow sax player, then an Arkansas governor named Bill Clinton, boosted sales too. He played at both Clinton inaugurals. His career was on the rise, but not necessarily his reviews.
How do you respond when people just are dismissive of your music?
I don't really worry if somebody tells me that either I don't look good or I don't sound good, because I already know what I do. And it never bothered me.
And he rejects charges that he's too commercial.
I'm not trying to write a hit song. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to sell records. I'm trying to write songs from here. Now, after they're done, I have no problem putting my businessman hat on and trying to sell as many as I can. You can wear anything in the Starbucks. If you come from the beach...
Of course, Kenny G is not one to squander money from those sales. He's known as a savvy investor.
So do you feel a sense of proprietorship when you walk in here?
Well, I'm proud every time I go into a Starbucks because I remember when they first started.
That's right. He doesn't just hang out at Starbucks. He was one of the first investors in the business. After all, it's based in his hometown of Seattle, And he says he was struck by the charisma of founder Howard Schultz.
I just said, how much can I put in? He says, well, I need this much. Here you go.
And has it worked out well?
It worked out well. It worked out very well.
Now, I can't help but notice, under the daily offerings, they are advertising the release of your album.
It was either that or it was under the skinny lattes. I wasn't sure which way they were going to put me.
In fact, when Kenny G wanted to make rhythm and romance his new album of original music with a Latin flair, he turned to Starbucks Entertainment and Concord Records.
You left your old company because they wouldn't let you make the kind of music you wanted to make?
They wanted more of the cover tunes, and no pun intended, but I think I covered that enough in my career.
And these days, he's not just making money from making music.
I am a music merchandiser. Yes, I've made my own saxophone. And this is it right here.
You designed it yourself?
I designed it. Now, this is the saxophone I've had forever and ever.
He's selling a new line of saxes, modeled on the one he's been playing since he was 17.
Anyway, I'm very proud of it, and it's got my fancy logo on there.
Oh,
isn't that pretty?
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And at 51, with a wife and 2 sons, Kenny G can pretty much call his own shots. Rated the #1 musician golfer in the country, he even has his own putting green. But in case you haven't noticed, Kenny G has never been one to take it easy.
You know what I think? Instead of thinking about how great I've got it, I think about how much more work I have to do and how much more practicing I need to do to become a better saxophone player.